Work Insider. Kids, if you see Ian take a selfie, he doesn't want to sign that autograph. Same goes for Davonte Adams. Get a selfie with your guy Davonte Adams or Jimmy Garoppolo or any of your favorite Raiders. That's Ian's advice. We also talked to Davonte Adams. David Shaw, Bridget Condon, take it away.
Joining us now, Davonte Adams. Davonte, you led the NFL in receiving touchdowns last season, set a single-season record for the Raiders in receiving yards. How do you balance that individual success and satisfaction versus team doesn't make the playoffs and team disappointment?
Well, for me, I mean, it's not, I'm secure in who I am as a player, so I don't need necessarily, 1,500 yards or exactly certain numbers to make me feel accomplished at the end of a season. It's the team goal is obviously the most important thing, and that's what we're trying to, achieve at the end of the day. And if you do things the right way, I'm a firm believer, you do things the right way, you run your routes hard every time, you go out there and win. If you're the primary in the routes or in the concept, you're going to get your numbers as long as you're healthy, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the way I look at it. For me, it's more small, short-term goals, like making sure I run a better, curl route than what I did last week or last year, or whatever it takes just to keep improving and then let the numbers take care of themselves. So when I come out of a year as an All-Pro and then we don't make the playoffs, that to me is not I expect to play at an All-Pro level. It's the tough part is coming together as a team and win those games. So that's what's most important and what's on my mind.
That's interesting. You bring up your mentality, and 10 years in, you're always looking for those little things. What did you push yourself on, as far as your game goes this offseason to get ready for the next decade of your career?
Yeah. Well, appreciate that. But we'll see. For me, I came in with a unique. It's funny you asked that because this year I came in with something that was different than I've done ever in the past, and the first week I didn't allow myself to use any releases, just to come off the ball, speed releasing, to work on getting in phase and making it hard on myself. Because I pride myself in getting rid of the guy at the line of scrimmage to be able to run a route essentially on air. So I figure if might as well make it as hard as possible. Don't shake him and just take the easy route with the which is what's going to happen in the game most likely. But at least there's going to be a couple times where I get in phase with a DB, and I want to make sure I'm working on, getting him off of me at the top of a route versus just beating him and throwing my hand up or doing those type of things. So it was a couple new objectives, and I tried that out, and I like the way it worked out.
Another new quarterback for you, your third season with a different quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo comes into town. This is a system that he's familiar with, but you guys are building a chemistry. You never worked with him before. What is it like building that chemistry? What are some things you do either on or off the field to help that relationship?
Well, obviously you got to get the throws in. So during special teams periods when they're working punt pressures and stuff like that, we get opportunities to go on the side, talk through some things, and I think that's one of the biggest understated things is the communication, the verbals, and talking about things in meetings and watching one-on-ones together and watching the team periods and different things like that. That way we can get a good feel for each other. That's what Aaron and I did a lot. In Green Bay was getting a good feel. That way he knew based off my body language, knowing my thought process on certain routes, what I'd be doing at the top of I got a curl or I got an in route, what's his time and how quick does he usually get out of this so he can now time it up with his throw. So those are the kind of slept on pieces that communication in the film room, because that's like 95% of the day. We come out here and practice for 2 hours, and then the rest of the 9 hours is indoors. So we got to take advantage of that film time.
Yeah, that camaraderie, that togetherness, quarterback receiver, and it's great. You have to put the time in on that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to merge a couple of thoughts here, Brett, because that's one thing, but then also all the talk about the running back position and all that stuff. We're not going to talk money. We're not going to talk about that stuff right now. But as far as Josh Jacobs is concerned and what he's been given to you as the receiver, the quarterback position, we talked about the new quarterback coming in and that camaraderie, but now having that piece to how valuable is that piece to this offense and to what you do?
I mean, you see the way we like to play the game. We like to run the ball. You got to have somebody back there that's a dog if you're going to give it to them, over 300 times. So, not having them right now is obviously something that I'm not happy with. But, we got to keep it going as a team until we figure out that piece. But obviously he's a huge part of this team and this offense. He's a really good leader. And obviously he played like the best back in the league last year, which you asked me, he is the best back in the league. So, it's tough not having them at this part of the training period, trying to get ready for the season. But we'll see what happens down the line. But definitely a big part of this team, in the past. So hopefully we can figure something out.
Have you talked with him? You guys are pretty close. What have those conversations been like?
Yeah, we spoke a lot. I mean, I've definitely been in his corner trying to, get his mind right, help him out with this process because I've been in the same, similar shoes, my time in Green Bay. So it's not easy to, push forward and make decisions when you don't feel that true, value is from the organization. Like they don't value the way that you see yourself. So I understand that part, but I also try to get them to understand the other side, play the devil's advocate a little bit. So I've been in his ears. A lot of things we talked about. Most things I can't obviously talk about on NFL Network, but
you can do it.
I appreciate the permission, but.
Raiders having a good training camp. Running back room looking great. Receiving room looking great. Offensive line is competing. The defense has been outstanding or whatever. Cornerback, I think his name is what, Jakari Bennett. He been looking good as well. Darian Butler, he been looking solid out there. Max Crosby, you know what I'm saying? Look like he been improving with his hands and his power and finesse move. Look like Jimmy Garoppolo. He look like he's fully healthy right now. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a season-ending injury last year. I think he had knee surgery, I believe. I forgot the name of the injury. Josh Jacobs still hasn't showed up to training camp. Like what Davonte Adams said, we're not winning the Super Bowl without him. So Raiders, you know what I'm saying? He led the league in rushing yards, about 1,600 yards. He could have had 2,000 yards if Josh McDaniels would have given him the fucking ball. You know what I'm saying? Late game situations. And he just kept taking them out and stuff like that. Josh Jacobs to me is a top 7 running back in the league. He can be a superstar. He's an all-star caliber running back. He's a star. He's a star running back. I don't think he's a superstar yet, but he can be. He's on the way. The thing with me is his consistency. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to just judge somebody off one season and be like, okay, he's a superstar. No, it don't work like that, man. Superstars just don't grow in trees. You get what I'm saying? Superstars, generational talent. A player that could take the team to the top. You get what I'm saying? That could take their team to the promised land or get them deep in the regular season or postseason, whatever you call it. But yeah, though, man, I believe Josh Jacobs will be there before week 1. If Josh Jacobs is not there before week 1, then we're screwed. You know what I'm saying? I do want to see Brendan Brown and Zamir White, you know what I'm saying, as our 3 running backs, but they re-signed Amir Abdullah and Brandon Bolden, so we might go with 5 running backs and a fullback, which is fucking stupid, and then go with 2 quarterbacks. We got Brandon Hoyer as the backup quarterback. He's solid as well. Is the Raiders going to re-sign Josh Jacobs? Is they going to trade him? He's currently on a franchise tag. He hasn't showed up to training camp. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It's your boy T Sweezy, and I'll be back on Raider News. Peace.